about the keys, and I was just like,
yeah.
Okay.
Got it. We're there.
Are we live?
Yep.
Every week I get surprised. Like I did it. Like
it's happening.
And it always starts out with me in this like blank face. Like, what am I doing? Like
I'm pretty sure I got that face going on too. So
every week. All right, this time I am going to share it to my page. Are you sharing it to yours every week? I don't know. Like, are we?
Yeah, I share it to my personal and then my business page.
Got it.
Yeah. Holistic Healing Therapeutics.
Okay. It always takes me a minute to find it.
Hey, everybody, if you're here, say hi. Let us know you're here. We're just putting the finishing touches on getting set up here.
Even though I do this every week, it always takes me, it's like I have to figure out how to do it again every single week. Okay. Yes. And if you're watching on my Facebook or Rena's, I don't know. Is it okay to tell in the comment under the Brandy Burrow Astrology and Tarot? That way we see all the comments in one place? Or
absolutely. Okay. Please do. Please do.
All right. Kathleen is here and Cheryl. Oh, good. So people can see us.
Awesome. Awesome.
Always a good start.
Yay.
Yay. Rena, tell them what we're talking about tonight.
Well, we're going to start out with a quick little what's been going on in the astrology, because this lady needs to know. It's felt like Mercury retrograde since about September, and it's been really bad this past week. I don't know what it is technology wise. Sometimes my washer gets a little like it wants to do its own thing.
Well, your house is haunted, Rena. Like that's not Mercury. That's your house.
Yeah, I suppose. But it's interesting. It's been really interesting. And then we're going to talk about, so Brandy went somewhere cool and she experienced some amazing stuff that was attached to the land and where she visited. I don't want to give it away because it's that good. It's that exciting. And then she came home and a spirit reached out to her and was telling her some stuff. So we're going to talk about spirits and land attachments and what happens when people die, whether it's traumatic or not, and why those spirits stay.
Yes, because I came home and of course I'm on my messenger to Rena, like leaving all these messages like, Rena, tell me about this.
And I think you should share the picture too, because
should I?
When you sent me that picture, it's like I knew exactly where it was, even though I didn't know. It was like, oh, I know what happened there, you know? So
I get a little worried sharing the picture because I don't want anyone tuning into the energy. So I will share it if we just look at it.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's my only concern. It's you don't want to feel into it unless you know what you're doing, unless you're very well protected. I'll just put that out there. But so while I'm sending those pictures, do we want to talk about what's going on in the cosmos or what's making?
Yeah, I think you should update us on what's going on. And I know we have a lunar eclipse tonight, so we should maybe talk about that too.
That's a big one. Maybe I'll start there. See, I was going to make notes for tonight's show, and that's like the first thing I got on there. And then it didn't go very far after that.
That's what the notes were about.
It's a one-liner though. It says eclipse.
That's good stuff.
This was your Gemini co-host trying to act like she had it all together today and getting prepared. So so overnight tonight, we have the partial lunar eclipse. So if you go outside, it's actually visible from North America. So you'll see a shadow on the moon. It's not going to be a full one, but you'll get to see a partial shadow.
And that's like midnight central time to like 3:30, I think the time was for viewing.
Right.
So that would be
at 2:47 central time, I think.
Okay. Perfect.
No, 2:57 central time.
Since we've changed the clocks back, it's like 10 o'clock comes and I'm praying for 11. Please, is it 11 o'clock so I can go to bed? Because if I go to bed too early, then I'm up. Well, I'd probably be up in time for the eclipse.
You would. Basically, if you go outside around 2 to 3 a.m., whether you're Central or Eastern, you'll get to see what's going on. So
awesome.
Just 1 second. Yes. Oh, thank you. Gypsy wanted to join.
He had to come to work.
Gypsy.
Like that.
I thought she was in here. So overnight, the partial eclipse is in Sun Scorpio. Lunar eclipses are also always on a full moon. So Sun in Scorpio, moon in Taurus are always going to be opposites. So here's what's interesting. And I was trying to do some research and ran out of time today. This lunar eclipse is conjunct with a fixed star Algol.
Okay.
Like the most destructive fixed star there is.
Oh, that's right. I did read about that. Yes.
It's a little interesting this time. I'm kind of like, how's this going to play out?
But like just kind of feeling into it, and I don't know what I'm talking about astrologically.
Yes,
but it feels like the Tower card. So like maybe there's some pieces that need to fall away, and maybe it needs to, of course there's always going to be things that kind of stir the pot and upset things a little bit, but in the end you'll know that it's okay and it's for the best. So as much as you can, let it fall away, let it destruct.
Yes. Now here's the other thing. Let me get my chart going for when the eclipse is happening. You want to see where Scorpio and Taurus are at on your astrological birth chart. This will tell you the areas that you can expect changes. And that's the thing about lunar eclipses. They bring changes, turning points, transformation. It really changes up things that needs to change. The thing is, like, it doesn't always feel great. Changes are not always, we like things slow and steady. Sometimes we don't like things disruptive, but a lot of times these disruptive changes that happen with eclipses actually lead us to a really good place. Like the Tower card in tarot, it's horrible to go through, but then you're like, oh, I'm glad I'm at, where I ended up. I've known people who, especially if these eclipses hit on your birthday or within a couple of days of your birthday. I know someone who lost their job because the eclipse hit on their birthday. They lost their job about 10 days later. But they ended up going back to school and are now in a job they really love. So see how that works? It seems really bad, but good ending. So yeah. And this eclipse, the moon will be trining Pluto. So Pluto is all about transformation as well. But when it's trining, it happens. I never want to use the word harmony with Pluto, but more in a harmonious way, they're working together well, they're working together nicely, they're friendly, so that might take the edge off of all this.
Definitely. And I know little things, I've seen so many people commenting even about like having the urge to clean the house, like go through closets, do the work that, the things that you normally do, like say you're going to lift up the couch and, do all that kind of business and like that deep cleaning. So
guess who did that today?
Well, I did.
It always makes me clean my house. So
I did some. I washed my entire bed. So like Zeus has his own bed in my bed, you know, so there's blankets for him and pillows for him. And you know, it's, yeah, it was a process, but it always is.
Nice. Serena, I sent you pictures only so I could get them on my Facebook. So
awesome.
give me a second. I'm getting these pictures queued up for the land that we're getting ready to talk about here in a minute. But another thing astrologically that we had this week, especially yesterday, it peaked Mars opposing Uranus. And with this Taurus moon, it was amplifying Uranus. So the Mars-Uranus opposition, that can be sudden changes as well. That can be a very accident-prone energy, especially when they're opposing each other. It can shake things up around you for sure, or make you just feel unsettled sometimes, depending on how it works with your chart. That's another thing. And Rena, you're a Taurus, so you were probably feeling that this week.
I definitely, yesterday I felt a little withdrawn. And I had sent you some kind of astrological, I don't know, it was like a lunar phase something for the days of this week.
Yes.
I definitely felt that. It was like I kind of needed to seclude myself a little bit, work on my little projects, just kind of hole up, protect my energy, just do the things that, I mean, I got everything else done too. It's just I really made sure I carved time out for the things that I enjoy doing. So
that's perfect.
That's
exactly
definitely a Taurus.
Oh man, I am still working with these pictures. They're not working like I want them. Let me try one other thing here.
I'll show you guys my cheeseburger jar while Brandy's trying to get
Please. Oh, this is amazing.
Look at this jar. And then you can unscrew the lid and put little snacks in there. How cool is that?
That is super cool. And are you going to be like making all sorts of different designs, or are we sticking with hamburger first? What's the plan?
I don't know. I have to make a couple more of these for my people for gifts, but these are definitely going to have to go in my shop because I've had so many people reach out and try to buy this cheeseburger and I'm like, I can't sell it, you guys.
Like, yeah, like I even want it. I don't even eat meat, and I'm like, I'm assuming it's a veggie burger.
So the lady who created the pattern, she's a big Bob's Burgers fan. So she has a Louise one too with the little bunny ears. Oh my God, it's so cute. And then I found her on Reddit. She has, she commented under Reddit. She has the whole Bob's Burgers game. I'm like, I need these patterns. So, yeah, I've really taken a liking to the amigurumi stuff.
It's very cool. All sorts of things you can put in those jars.
Definitely.
Very cool. Well, thank you for that. Okay, I got pictures rolling. So,
good.
Let me just check the comments, make sure if anyone had any astrological questions about what I was talking about. And I appreciate your patience with me. I know I'm like a little all over the place tonight.
Kathleen says you can share her story.
Yay, that's a good intro. And this happened. I talked to Kathleen right before I went to Los Angeles last week. In fact, she was my last stop before I went home and packed. And so a little backstory with Kathleen. She lost her husband a couple years ago. And she lives close by to where I'm at here in Texas. And so we met through that, she called me and we met, doing readings and stuff. And so, anyways, over time, she decided that maybe it was time to build a new house and kind of have some new beginnings. So she built a new house in the same community. I don't know, Kathleen, about a mile away. And so, and it's been such a cool journey seeing her do this process. And I got to she kept updating me on building the house. It was so cool. So anyways, I went and saw the house the other day and it's beautiful, amazing. The energy is wonderful in there. And so, and when I went to visit her, I was like, this house, it just feels so light. It feels different. This feels really good. And it just so validating. It felt so right for her.
Awesome.
Well, she, the other day, she went to go play golf and drove by the previous home that she had just sold. And when she got into the area, she felt such a presence, and she felt like it was her husband's presence. And she was like, oh my gosh, she texted me. She's like, is this what you feel when you connect with spirit? This is so like intense. And so anyway, we kind of determined that he's still kind of hanging around the old house and in that area, and you can really feel it. And so Rena, I had kind of messaged you about this too. And I was like, what do you find in your work? Do you find that spirits commonly do this, or,
It can happen for many different reasons. Spirits don't always stay attached to properties, but sometimes when they do, it can be for reasons like maybe he built this house and has such a strong, profound love for this place that he's kind of watching over like a guardian angel. Sometimes there's so much grief attached to the death that our emotions can actually keep that person stuck, because it's like we're holding on so tightly. I wouldn't say that in this case, but that's one of the reasons why they stay. And another, would be trauma. Those deaths where murders, sometimes the soul doesn't quite know what happened, or they're kind of stuck in this continuum where they're trying to work it out to be able to move forward, where they just need a little bit of light to help them lift the situation, shift, and, transform. So it can be many different reasons. A lot of times when I see that attachment like that, I would go for, maybe the person had such a love for this house. They probably lived in this home for a few years, there's so many fond memories, and it's just a feel good place for him to visit and watch over and take care of. So that would be my guess onto, as to this situation. So,
and that's what we discussed, and kind of the conclusion we came to as well. That he did love the house, particularly the backyard. Sure. And and Kathleen's commenting, she said trauma and grief were a huge part, and he loved to sit under the trees at the house. He was only there a few months, sadly.
Oh, so interesting.
But it was amazing. Even, I had been at her previous house and her new house now. And I mean, even I felt the huge difference.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, it felt really good at her new house. So, I mean, that was just more validation for her that, that was a good decision, and I think she'll be really happy there. But thank you, Kathleen, for allowing me to share that, because it's so interesting that this story came up, and then I had this other story from LA kind of around the same time, and it was just like so crazy. So should I start in with that?
You sure can. I'm excited. This is really interesting.
So this was unplanned. I want to put that out there. And I want to give a little bit of my background so that maybe everyone can understand why I would go here. I'm a huge fan of the 60s, of the music, the pop culture.
I would go there. But I'm the person, I like to feel the energy. I want to do the work. So like,
yes,
I would go there.
Yeah. And people do for that. And it's, hey, totally cool. I have no judgment. I was drawn to this because, I'm a big fan of the 60s. I didn't even plan to do it. Me and my husband were driving around LA, the Beverly Hills area. And I said, hey, I wonder if this is the area where this happened. And so we looked it up on a map, and my husband surprised me with taking me there. I did a little bit of a medium no. I assumed, okay, that this area, since it's been like 5 decades or more now, that this area would not be so heavy, that it might be somewhat clear, might be a new energy. I went in without my usual protective gear.
And I'm going to tell you this right now. It's never because we tore the house down that it goes away.
Yes.
That shit is in the land.
It is.
That's the property. So
I want to just tell everybody, don't do this unless you know what you're doing. Definitely don't do it the way I did, just assuming. Yeah, like I should know better. Like I'm a little ashamed to admit that, but I'm an open book. So I'm going to post a picture of the street. And then we'll go in. Some might recognize where I'm at once we see this. So
I want you to kind of tell us what was it like driving to this property? I've never been to LA. I've been to San Diego, love San Diego. So I'm trying to like picture this drive. What does it look like?
So a bunch of hills, beautiful area, very expensive houses.
Is it like highly populated, or are they big pieces of property where they're a little more spread out?
They're a little spread out, but then there's some areas where there are houses built, more modern houses built closer together because that land's getting so valuable that they're probably tearing down houses and splitting it up and building more on it. That's just the way things go now. And so we're driving up this road, and I'm going to show you the road we're on. Can you see that?
I see the gate. Is that is that the one you wanted to show?
Go. This is the road. And as we're going up this road, I knew right then and there, like, I don't know no other way to say it. I'm like, oh shit. Because I was like, this land is not clear. And I was kind of already in it. I was feeling like I was choking and I couldn't breathe. That was the first thing I got. So I knew energy is still here. And this is a private road. We were not supposed to be on it.
It kind of looks like an alleyway to me. You know what I mean? Like it feels very hidden.
It's very hidden. And I just want to show the picture. I want to make sure anyone watching is not tuning into the energy. Please do not. It is very hidden. You kind of turn on this road and it kind of winds up, and we're in our car from this picture, and there's really not any room to turn around. You have to go a little bit on people's driveway. It was a little uncomfortable because a guy came out with his dogs and was on the phone looking at us. So I think he was reporting that, you're not supposed to be there.
Oh my God, we didn't invite you.
Exactly. And then there's a gate up to the property where the event occurred. So you definitely cannot be there. We turned around when we saw people coming out with dogs, but so I'll show you the picture of the street and then we'll tell you what this is.
Don't tell them. Let's see if they can guess.
Okay, we'll let you guess. Don't tune in, just by visually what you see, please. Okay, so this is the street.
Those flowers are beautiful.
Aren't they amazing? And so if you see the street, it's Celio Drive. All right, it's guess time. Anybody know what this is?
Come on, guys. We know you know.
Come on. And I got to tell you something else cool. So we listened to like just Spotify playlist while we were driving around, and we had it on just a general 60s play, not a playlist we made, just like things that were suggested for us. And the song Spooky came on, Dusty Springfield's version. Spooky was playing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got goosebumps.
Yeah. So, okay. Jamie said she missed the beginning. What we're talking about. We just started into the story. We actually just showed a picture to see if you guys knew maybe what the area was.
Yeah.
So should I tell them?
Tell them.
Okay. If anyone's familiar with the actress Sharon Tate, who was murdered. She was 8 months pregnant and was murdered. This was her house on the other side of that gate. I don't even want to give a whole lot because I don't want to exploit anybody. I'm not trying to like make a big story off this, but I just want to tell my experience. And that's kind of the point of all this. But she was murdered
This was Sharon Tate. This was Abigail Folger, the heiress to the Folger Coffee Company.
Jay Sabring, I can't remember the name, but
yeah, I think that's his name. And then Abigail had a boyfriend, and I can't pronounce his name. I would totally butcher it if I even tried. Not from the US.
Right. Right. And they were murdered by the Manson family, which I don't want the story to be about them at all. But I wanted to go to this, see where this was at, because I had followed, me and Rena love true crime stories. And I had followed this crime story since I can remember, since I was a teenager. I had Helter Skelter, the book. And my mom was saying Helter Skelter is about that. Yes. And so, and the movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I love that movie.
It was so good. I love the alternate ending on it. It's an amazing movie. And so it showed like this area, and I was like, I want to see, is it like that? And it is. Quentin Tarantino did an amazing job of recreating the area as much as he could. Awesome. And but yeah, so on the other side of that gate is where it happened. They have torn down the house. It's kind of a long history with the house. It was rented out to several people until the murders happened. And then the owner had a hard time running it after that. So he just moved into it and decided to live in it for like 2 decades. And then he ended up selling it. Trent Reznor had it and recorded all the 9 Inch Nail albums in it.
Oh, you're shitting me. I had no idea. That's crazy.
Yeah, he bought the house, built a studio, called it Pig Studio, which I don't know about that. And
interesting, because now I'm thinking of the whole album with Closer on it, and that's interesting. That is really interesting.
He bought it because of the folklore and the story. And he happened to run into Sharon Tate's sister one day, coincidentally. And her sister was like, she's like, are you exploiting my sister by having this recording studio there, calling it Pig Studio? And he said it kind of hit him like a slap in the face. And so he went home that night, cried, was like very upset about his role in that, and ended up selling the house after that. So
I think he's kind of a weird dude. Mark had told me a story that he wanted to remaster a bunch of his music. So he got a hold of Prince and went to Paisley Park, and he's sitting there waiting, and Prince was late. And then he came in wearing this pink jumpsuit.
Nice.
And I guess Trent Reznor was so freaked out he left. He didn't even like talk to him or anything.
What?
He just left.
That's what scared him.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, really? But yeah, it's a funny story.
Yeah. So he ends up selling the house. I think someone bought it. I get a little mixed up on the history, but I think someone bought it at that point, tore it down, built a new house so that it didn't have Sharon Tate or any of that with it.
But we know different.
We know different
because it's the land. It is the land. It's never
the land
structure. It is the land.
It is the land. And that is one thing I wouldn't have known either, Rena, because I was like, okay, if I feel something, it's got to be from this. But as soon as we got on that road, I was like, oh my God, this is more than what just happened, more than just the story we know. And I was like, there's got to be more that went on with this house, with this property. But it was so dark, and that's the only word I can find, and heavy, that I just kind of wanted to back off of it, because I was like, I got myself into something I wasn't expecting.
Sure.
And so we turned around and we left, and we went on with the rest of our vacation. Well, this energy stuck with me. I was drained.
Well, and you're so in tune, and you're so sensitive. I mean, this is your work, so this is what you do. Yeah. So I wouldn't even call it a fault. I mean, it's just kind of like, I think she just had a message for you, and because you're so in tune.
I think so. And so, yesterday I'm still drained, and it's still heavy on my mind, and I'm like really disturbed by what I felt. Like, it was just sticking with me. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to tune in. I'm going to tune in and see what this is. And as soon as I did and kind of got the message, and all it wasn't even a message for me. It was just answering my questions.
Yeah.
That's all I needed. And as soon as I got that information, I mean, I felt fine. And so I tuned in. And I got this spirit who had the sweetest voice. My nose is running. It's allergy season in Texas. So anyway, the spirit has the sweetest voice, and she's telling me she's like, no, it's not what happened to us. This land has a history. And she was saying this land was haunted before we were here. Mm-hmm. And of course, I know nothing about the history. Like what I just told you just now, I was after the fact, and I'll go into that I had to look up. But and so I'm like, okay, this land has been haunted. Okay, I wonder if that's something we can fact check, And so energy on the land already. And then I kept getting one of my music bands a hit about Paul Revere and the Raiders. And she's telling me like, no, Paul Revere and the Raiders is connected to this. And I'm like, no. And of course, I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and they play a lot of their songs in it. And so I thought that was my mind getting in the way. I'm like, no, I saw the movie. Maybe I'm just you have to do that as a medium. There's things where you're like, am I getting this from spirit, or is my mind getting in the way?
It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle.
Well, she kept hitting it home. Like, no, you need to look at this. And that's when I know it's not my mind, when I'm trying to get rid of it and they're bringing it back up constantly. So, so I took these bits of, messages I got, and I went online and did some research.
Hold on. Carrie has a message for you.
Okay. Oh, I know. In and out. If I let them out, or her, is it Gypsy? It's Gypsy. She'll want back in. I know. I saw her.
That's why I was laughing too, because she's like,
yeah, like, no, she's being a pain. And I'm talking about the spirit stuff, and it gets Gypsy revved up. I know.
She's sensitive too. So
they are. These are psychic cats. Like, I should do a whole show about their bullshit. So I get my little bits of information from spirit, and I start like this internet search last night about this house. And I'm like, I don't want to know about the Manson murders. I want to know about this property. And so it has a long history. There was a lady who lived in it. I want to say the 1940s. Can't remember exactly, who killed herself in the house.
Wow. Okay. So stop right there. That alone tells me negative vortex.
Ah, yeah, right. So, we were talking about this last show, weren't we?
Suicides, murders. These people that are drawn there probably have heavy karma lines there, yeah. Which is something we can cure, but
I wish I had all your business cards with me. I just dropped them over the gate, like, oh, Rena, we can fix this.
Well, we'll fix it up when we go do that hotel business down there.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even get near that one either. Helio Drive was enough. So we find out there's a lady who kills herself. And then but even before that, like immediately when the house was built, the owner reported haunted activity. So ever since this place was built, like 2 decades before the murders happened, all this stuff going on. And then here's the cool part where Paul Revere and the Raiders comes in. I'm doing research and find out Mark Lindsay, who's a singer for Paul Revere and the Raiders, lived in that house before Sharon Tate lived there. And he reported it being extremely haunted. In fact, he ended up moving out because of it.
So how long before, do you know? Like not necessarily need
months.
Really?
He moves out, and then I think like 3 or 4 months later she moves in, and then she only lived there about 6 months, I think, before she was murdered.
Wow.
So I got my questions answered. I got validation because we pull in on this street and I'm like, there's more going on. What is this? And then of course, as soon as I felt that and felt the energy, I was like, I kind of shut the switch off because I was like, wait a minute, not ready for this. It was a little too much.
Yeah.
And then the music, hearing that band with that road, I was like, so that was my cool story. And as soon as I tuned in and got that, the energy faded. So I'm back to myself today.
Fascinating. God, I love stuff like, I really do. I mean, I know when you're going through it, it's like, what in the heck is happening here? But, the end result is just fascinating to me. It really is. And seriously, I wish whoever lives there peace. I hope they can find somebody who does the work I do. That would be freaking amazing.
Well, it turns out through my research last night, I guess they have had like ghost adventures out. They've had paranormal, like the newest owner.
So I have a little bit of conflict of interest with these people who go ghost hunting.
Me too, because I don't like anyone who goes and just taunts spirits. That's just not cool.
Well, that, and I feel like if you are going to go and you're going to do this, you should be able to offer them the help that they need, because I will tell you this, when they're trying to get your attention, it's because they want your help. Whether it's maybe it is just to let you know that they're there and watching over the space. But a lot of times when you have things like what's going on at the Sharon Tate house, it's because a lot of those spirits need help moving forward. You know, that energy is so dense. It's just, they need a little bit of light to lift it. So, you know, whether it's helping the spirits move forward and closing the vortex or shifting it to a positive vortex instead of a negative, you know, I mean, it would be, wow. It would totally shift the whole neighborhood. And, you know, probably a lot of people who, drug addictions, you know, I'm just talking in the neighborhood, drug addictions, failed businesses, failed marriages, things like that.
All sorts of things going on that we don't know about.
Right. Absolutely.
And yes, Jamie and Jessica, yes, we were talking about Sharon Tate, and yes, that is who they were murdered by.
Yes. So like these houses, when these people leave these houses, say that they moved out, that energy is going to stay and it keeps piling up until somebody comes in and clears it, you know. So just think about all the layers of density we have there, plus that negative vortex, because again, suicides are anything that drives you to that point of depression, you know, just to keep it real simple, that's negative vortex, those personality changes, and you're drawn there for a reason. With I'm not going to say to commit the suicide, but maybe there was some kind of lesson that she needed to try to pull herself out of. And again, sometimes it's in our soul contracts to cross over to the other side because there's work to do. You know, it's just sometimes things happen like that, you know. But yeah,
I will say the spirit I felt like I was getting information from, I did not feel like she was stuck there. Right. I did feel like there were some, you know, I don't know if you want to use earthbound spirits, definitely some hanging around there. I didn't feel like she was one of them, but
right,
definitely.
Yeah. And that can be a common misconception all in itself. Just because somebody dies doesn't mean they're stuck to that property either. Again, we're talking roles and things like that, you know. I think you're right. You know, her spirit was light enough that she was able to move forward. But again, these spirits can come in and out as they choose. Sometimes those spirits can't because, again, they might have that lesson. Maybe it's literally just a color ray, like the blue ray for protection, or, you know, maybe unconditional love and acceptance, you know, things like that can lift the vibe in order for them to be able to move forward. So it's really interesting.
It really is. It's pretty crazy. And then you know, you also got to wonder, just like people like me or whatever reason people want to visit that area, that's drawn in that energy and spirits, and you know, I think all of us have a part in it.
Yeah, but and for us, it's our work. So to us, it's and not in the wrong way. It's fascinating, you know, it really is. It's an experience, and being able to feel, and, you know, I'm sure if you would have connected with somebody that you had encountered, you would have sent them the light or whatever they needed in order to move forward. But, you know, ghost adventures and those people are just there for the gags. I'm sorry, it pisses me off to no end. Yeah. We had a local group here who would go in and like scream at spirits and like bang on, you know, like stop it.
Them, right? Like
it's so rude.
It is. Yeah, it was definitely, you know, like I said, I went because I wanted to see the neighborhood. like, oh, this is where it happened. Okay. And then it was like, whoa, as soon as we drove in, I was like, never mind. This is
really interesting. Wow.
Maybe, I don't know if I'll go back to it. I don't see myself ever going back to the area, but yeah, if I had known, maybe I'd gone in with my tools and prepared.
Well, and we can get real deep with this conversation. California in itself sits on fault lines. Okay, so we got all kinds of energy and density sitting there. LA is so heavily populated, and things that have happened there. I mean, let's talk about the Cecil Hotel. Richard Ramirez slept there. How many murderers slept in that freaking hotel? You can't tell me that hotel is not on a negative vortex, and that energy is, that
one was creepy.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't want to go spend the night. I just want to go do a clearing.
So if anybody's that people drank the water, that's the part that got me.
Oh my God, get out of town.
Oh, I would die. Then my ghost would be there. No,
it would have been heaving. So I can't with that. That story is insane.
It's too much. I know. Something else that's interesting, and maybe it's just because it's Hollywood, but I went to 2 cemeteries there. I'm not a big cemetery person, believe it or not. I go to a cemetery if there's someone I want to visit, and usually there's someone famous because that's just the way I roll.
Yeah.
I've been to New Jersey to the cemetery there to see Joey Ramone. And then I went to this, and that was a very peaceful, amazing experience. So what I like to do is I like to play a little game where I don't look up where the graves are. I like to walk right into the cemetery and say, all right. And I call the spirit and I'm like, show me where you're at.
Nice.
Did that with Joey. It was an amazing story. Went right to it, by the way.
That's amazing.
It made my husband a believer a little bit more. He was like, wait a minute. You didn't know where this was at? And you just intuitively found it? I'm like, sure, we can put it that way. And he was a little bit like, so I go to Hollywood Forever this last weekend because Dee Dee Ramone's buried there. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. Show me where you're at. And so he pulls me the right way, right? I go right to the section of the cemetery, all the way across, diagonal. I get there and then I can't see him anywhere. I'm like, where is it? And I just keep hearing laughter. It was ornery. Finally found it. He finally got me there. But I had to pull out my phone, I wasn't taunting. Maybe I was, but I was like, all right, I'm getting ready to look it up.
If you don't show me, no, I don't call that.
I have no sunscreen on. It's 90 degrees. I'm about to die from the sun. You got 2 seconds or I'm looking it up. And he took me beeline right where it was at. So
that is so cool.
But the energy at this cemetery, I'm exhausted from this trip because of course it's Hollywood. It's famous people in the cemetery. They love attention. And I was it was a whole different experience just visiting the cemetery than any other cemetery I've been in.
That's really cool. I would love to go there. When they have a movie night, oh God. Yeah, totally.
It was cool.
Sign me up.
I wanted to go again before I left. Even though I was exhausted, I'm like, I want to go back, but I was like, it's a little too much.
You'll have to go back for sure. For sure.
But yeah, California, as you're saying, is just, the energy is interesting.
It is. It's really fascinating. And again, we have the ocean in itself, the fault lines, all of that energy just intensifies the spirit activity and what's going on for them too. So it's really fascinating.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. My last 2 vacations was that in New York. And I got to say, New York felt more restful.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah. Maybe because I didn't go to any crime scenes that I know of. Oh, I did actually.
You did. You went to see.
Never mind. I don't ever go anywhere without going to a crime scene. What am I talking about?
Things happen everywhere.
But definitely had the mediumship rolling from this trip, and so
Yeah, Carrie says the LA riots too. Yeah, there are all kinds of stuff playing out. Yes, it's beautiful and amazing, but I think that the people that go there, there's a reason that those people live in that area. And it's not always for things like that, but it can be famous people are famous for a reason, because they're supposed to share their light with the world, so there's all kinds of interesting things that happen.
That's interesting you say that, because I was out there, and anytime I leave home and visit somewhere, I'm always like, I want to move here. Like, it's always, I don't know if it's a Gemini in me.
No, we're totally the same way. Mark and I are totally like, okay, let's go home and pack.
Yeah, like I did that with Austin. We visited once and I came back and moved here. Like, and I want to do that with New York. And then, so I was expecting that with California, and I get there and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazingly beautiful. And my brain is telling me, Brandy, you love the beach, you love the ocean, you love palm trees, but I did not want to move there. And so my brain was messing with me, because I'm like, how do I not want to live here? I love warm weather, I love sunshine. Like, maybe
it was LA in itself, because like I love the vibe of San Diego. I really do. It's just totally cool, calm, and collect. And I know there's 1,000,001 people there. People are busy. They're doing their own thing. They're living their life. They're not all up in your business. I don't know. California feels like home to me. I've only been there once.
Nice.
My husband grew up there, but.
Oh, that's right. I remember you saying that now.
Yeah.
I felt that way about New York. Like, I could have just not gone home and been fine.
Interesting.
I would have collected my cats and my
books. Leave the kids, take the cat. No, just kidding.
I would bring the family. I'd pack up some of my stuff. I probably wouldn't have a place big enough for it, but yeah. Like I still want to move there, but yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome.
So those are my haunted stories. And Rena, I love how you shed light on, like, because we both do mediumship. Yeah. But I never understood, okay, what attracts someone here? I never really get into all that. I'm like, can I help you cross over? Let me talk to your loved one. And that's kind of where my abilities are. Like, I love how you can understand the land and how it works. And I love what I do, just because of how deep it goes and the stories it tells and why things happen the way they do. It's really fascinating. But through that work, I've learned to turn it down until I'm ready to do the work, or I have permission. Because I can't just, if somebody lives on a property, I can't tune it. Like, that's forbidden. So, if you come to me and you ask me a question about your house, I can help you with that. But you need to be invited in.
Yes. I'm not a vampire, I swear.
See, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know if you could like work on something like.
Yeah. And it's not like, even if you have me do work for you one time, I can't just keep doing, it's not like that. So.
Interesting.
Yes. It's very private.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's been wonderful just getting to talk about this and tell this story, because
this is up
anybody with these stories.
Oh yeah, I know. But it's really interesting when you can tell these stories and kind of make sense. And, the Manson family stories are so over the top. We don't hear other pieces of the story, like the other people that lived there before. Of course, we knew there was other people. Who? Terry Melcher? Was that his name?
Yeah, he was the Beach Boys produced. Doris Day's son. He was actually one that was wrapped up with Charles Manson and them. Yeah. That's got freaked out and moved. They moved away from Charles Manson.
I would. Them crazy bastards showing up at my door.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's what happened to Sharon Tate. They were just living there, and
yeah.
Terrible. It's a terrible, horrible, disgusting crime. It's just Jamie is saying her mom and her friend Katie and I had to cross over a friend of Katie's that was killed in a murder-suicide. She was my elementary school art teacher and coworker of Katie's. Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's very beautiful work though. Every time I help a spirit, like it's just part of my passion. It's where my heart is. And, you know, over everything I do, I think if I could only pick one thing, I would totally do that for the rest of my life. It's beautiful. It's amazing. That's my favorite part.
It's like there's no turning back once you get in it. Like,
right.
I could never stop doing any of this work. It's just part of who I am now.
Right. It's very rewarding in your heart, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, what else do we got going on? How was your week, Rena?
Well, I finished the cheeseburger and Max picked out some yarn for his grandma. So I've been working on a scarf. I'm actually just binding off on it. There's like 126 stitches in this. It's a shawl / scarf. So it's taking me forever to bind off, and it's an easy bind off. So that's what I've been doing, and washing my bedding.
I washed my bedding today.
So yeah, not a whole lot. It's been kind of quiet. I rolled out some new keys. You guys want to see them?
Yes.
I brought them for show and tell. Which ones do you want to see first, Brandy?
Oh, the diamond one.
Oh yeah.
I'm the worst friend ever. I can never memorize the name.
This is Pillars of Light, Key of Balance and Passion. And it does just that. It connects you to your drive, your life force, and it helps you anchor that, balance all the energies in your life, you know, those intense energies that are holding you back or pushing you forward, and it helps you manifest with them. So it's the activation of this key is, I tell you, I get the warm fuzzies. I don't want to pick a favorite child, but this one blows me away. It's my new best friend.
I love it. And it's got a different shape because usually they're round.
Yep. They're usually round. Yeah.
Cool. I
so
can't wait to work with that one.
We've been working on this for some time, and it was kind of like it just had to kind of come to fruition, and we just kind of had to play with it and let it take form all by itself instead of us going, well, we want it to look like this. It had to do it all by itself. So check it out. It's really cool.
It's beautiful. And I love the beads. Tell me about the beads on it.
So we got ruby and we got garnet with the red ray. And actually, I talk about the crystalline rays. So when these spectrum rays come in and I see them, I put them into crystal energy. So when I talk about the crystalline energy, I'm actually watching that quantum energy take form. And this is the best way I can interpret it, really. So we got the ruby and the garnet. Ruby connects you to your passion, and garnet will help you manifest it and bring balance to your life.
I can't wait to get my hands on that one.
Yes.
In a big week. And then no, not yet.
We got the Venus key.
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't want to spoil anything. I didn't know if we were like announcing. I was like, I think she announced this one.
I did. So this is really cool energy too. Venus energy is all about beauty and art and music and unconditional love and all the things that bring us joy and aesthetics and beauty. And, you know, it's really a beautiful heart energy. Reiki energy comes from Venus. So this is a perfect tool for your healers. This has golden tiger eye. And I say golden tiger eye. It's not that dark tiger eye that you're used to seeing. It's like this really interesting yellow, like more like a cat's eye kind of a looking stone. You know what I mean? It really
looks like
cool.
Venus.
It does. It's really interesting. So I'm going to tell you another key secret here. 3 loops. These create vortex energy. So it's a really powerful healing tool.
Okay, I gotta have that.
It's interesting. You do, because you're an astrology person. You got to have all the planets. And you're even going to have Mars and Saturn.
Okay.
Because we're looking at the
before I became an astrologer, before I dived in deep, I got a Saturn car. Now, had I known exactly what Saturn's role was, I would not have done that. It was the worst car I had.
Really?
The thing broke down constantly. And it's apparently for a lot of people who had one.
Interesting.
Yes.
Aren't they the ones that have the mirrors that kind of automatically adjust? I know some of them, like the ion.
Mine didn't, but this was in the 90s. And, you know, I've always loved astrology, but this is before I dived in deep and how karmic and hard lessons that Saturn brought.
Yeah. So I got one more to show you. So this is the crystalline grid keys, which those create EMF protection, you know, your energies that cause disturbances to your health, wellness, and spirituality in your homes. That's what these keys do. They protect you from those energetic disturbances. So this is the standard, and this is a 12-inch. So, and this is something we've been working on rolling out for a while too. We just kind of had to finally do it because there was a list of things and my boss was getting on me. I told you this is going to happen. So here we are. We have the minis. So these are 6 inches long. They're super, super cute. They're perfect for your smaller spaces. They're perfect for travel. So if you guys travel a lot, say you're spending a lot of your time in hotel rooms. I don't sleep well in hotel rooms because I live in a home that's, you know, high vibrational. It supports the energies that I need. I shouldn't say this, and so don't take it the wrong way, but a lot of times I don't like to leave the house because it feels so damn good here.
I think a lot of us can understand that. I don't think that's an insult. I mean, I get it. Me and Rena have never met in person because I don't like to leave the house. She doesn't like, but you see, I have Rena's keys everywhere. I have those, the 12-inch ones. Definitely. On every corner of my house, and then the one that sits in the center, and I don't leave either.
Yeah. So these are super awesome for like your office spaces, things like that. They're just kind of a smaller version, something we've been talking about rolling out for a while, and we just finally did it. So I have one more key to release this month, and that comes out Monday.
Yay!
Sagittarius Key. So
that's what I was wanting to ask about too. If Sag was rolling out.
Sag is coming, and Sag has lapis. That was per special request from a Sagittarius.
Well, hell, you gotta do it.
I was like, let's do it. That fire energy is burning hot.
Awesome. And they can get these keys through the Etsy store, or your website will direct them as well, right?
Yep.
Or contact me. I will get you a whole. Actually, I have Rena's website linked on my website.
You do, because you're smart and you do all these fancy website updates.
I know nothing. Like, I just happened to get on GoDaddy and figure out how to make a page. But I wanted to put Rena's stuff on there because, you know, we do these shows together, and I'm like, well, just in case, if you can't find her, you'll find her here. There's all sorts of places you can find her keys. That's why I wanted to
definitely
make sure it's available.
Yeah, lots of exciting stuff. So I kind of took that transformational energy and lit the fire under the kettle, and here we go. We're doing all kinds of stuff. It feels so good. I love this. Going into winter, I know you're supposed to kind of hibernate, but this is when I do my best work. Like, I'm just ready, and I love holing up and doing all the things, and you know,
I like to hide. So hopefully being, working with Rena will get me out a little bit.
I know, right? We got to keep this business up.
I once had a neighbor say, I hadn't seen you in 5 months. Like, what's the deal? And I'm like, it's winter. Like, if it gets below 80, you're not going to see me.
Yeah, you got to come online to find us. That's the thing. You're not going to see us out in public.
Nope. I order my groceries and everything to be delivered. Like, yeah, I don't leave. Awesome. Well, Jamie is asking about the lunar eclipse. So she says, are the descriptions of the houses they're going to, I might need my glasses. Hold on, guys.
Are the descriptions of the houses that are going to be affected, like my Taurus is in 6th, my Scorpio is in 1. Do we read the descriptions to figure out what it is? Does that make sense?
Yes. And so you're probably using a Placidus. I use a whole sign house. So if your Scorpio's in the 1st house, Taurus would be in the 7th. If you're using Placidus, might be a little different, where the 6th house can be in there. Both work. They're just depends on what language you like to speak.
I would go with the qualities of like your Taurus, your Scorpio, and refer to the sign. That's the easiest for me to understand. So like my Taurus is in the 4th house, right? And I know that's the house of family and home, and so
exactly
that's where I like to be. We're going to be homemaking.
That's the area. So yeah, so you'll look at whatever houses fall and the signs on your chart. So 1st house, which is the self, it's the body. A lot of times when we get things hit in the 1st house, we like to make physical changes or diet changes, or just like this exploration on who we really are, like trying to figure out, our authentic selves. 6th house is also about health, where you can get diet changes sometimes. It's about routines. It's about day-to-day work. It's about small animals. If you want to use whole sign and go to the 7th house, that's relationships, not just romantic, but people you work with, people you're partnering up with.
Business, neighbors, even your neighbors.
And neighbors. Tom says he can't wait to learn about his chart. Tom is coming to Austin, not this weekend, but next. And
awesome.
Chart reading. So
awesome sauce. You're going to love it, Tom.
Hope so. He ordered his long form birth certificate so he could get his time of birth. And it took, because I think he ordered it, was it right before COVID or right when it started? It took over a year to get it.
Oh, get out. Where'd you have to order it from?
He had to order it from the state of, was it Missouri, I believe? And I think people weren't working in the offices for so long.
Because Mark's had to come from California and it didn't even take that long. It took like 3 weeks or something. I mean, it was like,
oh,
what's going on in Missouri?
Damn it. Yep.
We don't shut down here in North Dakota. So might have took a little extra time, but no, we don't shut down. I'm telling you, 20 feet of snow in the morning. We're not shutting down.
That freaks me out. Because you know what happened when we got snow in Austin? We died. People died. I nearly froze to death. Like,
oh God.
It completely shut down, turned off our electric, our water.
See, and that's crazy. Like, we're just built for this. We just know that this is a piece of our life. Our power doesn't shut down. I mean, it has. We've had a storm like that. It's been, God, I think Max was just a baby where the power was out for a couple days. I mean, it was below 0 here. So like they had to bring in linemen from other states to like help us get our power, because it was just so, you'll freeze to freaking death. It's detrimental.
You will. We were, here in Austin, we don't own coats or.
Yeah. And you guys are nuts. See, we're used to like 30 below in January. Like we know that the air hurts your face when you go outside.
It's terrible. I've never felt weather that cold. It was like -7 one morning. But that's okay. We ordered wood so that we have firewood this time if that ever happens. So
you guys need a generator too.
Yeah, we do.
I know an electrician, that can help put that stuff in.
We might have to source him. I'll put them to work. You know, you're kidding, but I'm like, huh? Okay.
I'm not kidding. I'm getting to Texas one way or the other. There's some vegan food trucks down there.
Oh, you can be vegan here. Yes.
I want
so
to
easy.
so bad. Oh God.
Come on. You don't want to move to New York then. I know, Carrie, that's like the only thing, but like, I think because I love it so much that I would learn to adjust. I'm willing to.
It would take you probably a year just to kind of experience all the different seasons and kind of, you know, when it's summer, it's hotter than hell and you're going to sweat your ass off. You know, that's just summer.
I love that.
And you just work around it. And you know, when it's winter, you know, it's just, you just plan for it all. It is really beautiful. I know I gripe about the snow after about 10 months of it, but
I would too. No, I know Carrie brings up a good point. Carrie, I'm willing to do it.
She wants to try it.
I want to try it.
We can borrow our coats to her or something, Carrie.
But this eclipse is not hitting my travel houses, so I don't think it's going to happen, at least within 6 months. So it's actually hitting my 1st and 7th.
Okay, so 4th and 10th. What's 10th?
10th is like career, not day-to-day work, but career. Like, what are you known for? You know, your reputation, your experience with the outside world. So that's the Scorpio, right? I'm going by memory.
So what are we going to be doing? That's interesting. I want some answers now.
Sounds like you're going to be working from home quite a bit.
Well, God, I hope so, because that's what I do.
That's what I do these days too. That's a whole long story.
Let's do it.
Whole long story. So yes. Jamie saying I would learn how to adjust to it. I think so too. All right. Well, do we want to pull a card for, what do we want to do? General or take a couple of readings? What do we do?
That's up to you.
Yes, Jamie, mine is the 1st and 7th because I'm a Taurus rising. So we're opposite though. So the lunar part will hit my 1st and the sun hits the 7th. So yeah, maybe that, you know, astrology is so fluid, but one thing it could be is like kind of finding your independence in within the relationship or things like that. Or it could just be me doing self-exploration, which this last eclipse we had in May hit on my birthday. I was, not gonna lie, I was a little scared. I had to practice what I preach. And it was my 2nd and 8th houses. And it's all about finding my self-value. And it's been a big journey of that the last few months, which has been wonderful, by the way.
Yeah. I love self-exploration. I love digging into the Akashic records and playing around. And oh my God, you guys, seriously, if you want to have some fun conversations, you ask me what I do every day and we'll talk about weird planets and spirits and what I dreamt about, what I had for lunch.
Oh my God, Rena, how many of my dream stories have I told you where I'm like, oh my God, what is this? Like buildings are on fire and
yes,
it's wonderful. And I love being here on Thursdays with everybody to tell these stories. Cause you know, I put a little bit of these stories on my regular Facebook and sometimes I lose friends.
It's so much more candid like this, you know, it really is. It's beautiful experience.
Yes. Okay. So how about, I forgot what you said. Should we do a couple of card pulls for individuals and then end with a general card for everybody else? Is that okay?
Absolutely.
And then before I forget, Rena brought up a good point that Thanksgiving is next week.
Oh yeah.
I just learned that yesterday because I still thought it was like a month away. And so we won't be on here next Thursday. We're going to take a holiday.
Yep. We're going to sleep in and wear our pajamas. Not like I'm not already. You guys get me in pajamas all the time. I'm sorry. That's just who I am. That's my Taurus showing.
I've done that before. You know, like when you're just, I shouldn't even tell that. You you know, and the camera's just on, you know, I've showed up for readings with a very nice top on, but pajama pants.
Heck yes.
I look nice. That's all that matters. You can't tell what's going on.
That's right. And I might not, but I look nice in my heart. How does that sound?
Me and Rena are beautiful on the inside.
That's right.
So Rena's my favorite person ever. Okay, who wants to go? Oh, by the way, I want to tell you, Rena, I've been using my Revolution key all week.
Oh, I love that key. That one's magical. That's a magical key. My mom always called that the Prince key. She'd say, "Ooh, that Prince key is really powerful."
I call them all Prince keys. Because they are, but yes, this is the Prince key, and this thing is powerful, and
it is.
Oh, good stuff. I've been keeping it by my desk. All right, so Carrie says it shines right through the PJs.
That's right.
That's right. Okay, who are we going? Okay, I'm going to start with Jamie.
Okay.
And you guys have a question that's even better. Let me see. I don't know if she has a question.
Yeah. Do you guys have questions? I'll pull for Mandy.
I'll just go ahead and pull Jamie while I'm shuffling. If you have a question real quick, spit it out. Otherwise, I'll just do a general one for you since I already got going here.
Sounds good. Jamie says general.
Got it. Okay. Interesting, Jamie. So because we were talking about the eclipse and the houses it could potentially be affecting, depending on whether you want to do whole sign or Placidus. This eclipse is not going to affect anything as far as the romance department. So that's one area you can kind of be like, I don't have to worry about that. But I do see you trying to find your place where you're at. So this might be work, career related, or just people you are generally around, your partnerships, not romantic, but the other ones. You're trying to find your place. And for some reason, I'm feeling like there's a little bit of a stagnation. I just feel like there's some changes coming up for you. Like a lot of rebirth, a lot of like, I thought I was going to do this forever, but I'm actually thinking I'm going to start doing this. Something like that going on where you're just areas where you thought were going to be fixed or that there wasn't going to ever be change in, you're going to be seeing changes with that. But this is really good. I see you more going in the direction of helping people heal, just being really drawn to that at the moment. Now, do I think you'll up and quit your job or something? No, but I do think you'll be pulling in more of this other stuff. And another thing I see is you being just completely, and you're already like this, but completely who you are around people. There's no more hiding stories. There's no more hiding. This is what I do in my other time, you know. I see you flourishing.
That's right.
I talk a lot sometimes, but
it all flow, girl. It's coming.
Kevin wants to know if he calls us a dynamic duo. By the way, he said we were better than Sunny and Cher earlier. Like that. I didn't know it got better than that. So I'm like so touched. He wants to know if we have an understanding of dreams. Pretty much.
I mean, okay, so let's talk about our dream class we took.
Did we take that together?
We did.
Okay.
I think we did.
Too.
It's interesting.
We've taken a few.
Dreams are always up for interpretation. And okay, so let's say you have a dream about, I don't know, a red feather. How does that red feather make you feel? What does that red feather mean to you? So yeah, there's some, you can look up meanings, but I highly recommend the exploration of dream interpretation. So,
well, he said he had a vivid dream last night where he was spinning out of control in a car on a wet road. You got some good clues there. What's going on?
I would say so.
Wet, water, emotions.
Yep.
Spinning out of control.
Yep. Definitely.
Feeling like you can't take the helm, can't.
And something's coming to the surface. So.
Well, and wanting to control something coming to the surface. And it's about letting go of that control and just letting it come to the surface. What do you think, Rena? That's kind of what I'm.
Absolutely. Let it flow. Don't be the strong person. You don't have to be the strong. You can
quit suppressing those emotions.
Right. It's part of being human. It's not showing weakness. Let it flow.
And if I remember right, Kevin, sorry, I'm just putting you in the hot seat here. If I remember right, you're a Leo, right? Leos there's some pride there. They don't always want to show.
Right. They're well put together.
Yep.
Well put together, always look their best. Yeah, absolutely.
And they want the appearance of things being okay too. You know, you don't, you like it's kind of even though it's not a private sign, it's kind of private. You know. Okay,
right.
He's giving me the thumbs up. I feel like he's saying, okay, got it, shut up.
So part of strength is also showing those emotions. I feel like that's a message for you too. Like that had to come out. Like part of showing your strength is showing that you're human too.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. Fascinating.
Thanks for sharing that. That was kind of fun, Rena.
Woo, I like that. Let's do that next time.
Let's do that. You guys come with your crazy ass dreams and we will tell you what it means and we will call you out. That was good stuff.
Oh,
and he still said thank you. You're welcome.
You're welcome. Hopefully that's helpful.
All right. Sorry, it was your turn to pull a card.
Oh, yes, for Mandy.
Yes.
And then Tom wants a card if you want to pull one for Tom.
I do, because it's his birthday Saturday.
Oh my. That's awesome.
Yes, same day as my hubby's.
I always pull more than one. I like a full picture. Interesting. So, this message is all about just holding your balance and letting the things around you happen. You just stay strong within yourself. There's a lot of partnerships. This is about your relationship with your significant other, as well as your friends, and holding strength in that, celebrating those pieces of you. There is pieces that are surfacing. It feels really emotional, like it can be overwhelming, but I don't think you're supposed to take it like that. It's just kind of an acknowledgement of what's happening in your life and being grateful for exactly where you are at this place and this time and the people that surround you.
Yep.
Okay. Hopefully that resonates.
All right. And Tom, so you're getting a little bit of a pat on the back from the cards. I love this. Just some validation for you, Tom. So, and I've worked with Tom on a couple of things this week. So this kind of makes sense from what I know, but you did really well for yourself this week. It's showing that you did what was right by you, and that you were actually really using your intuition. you're pretty intuitive, but sometimes you're kind of like me where our intellect tries to take over. But this week you didn't let that happen. You were using your intuition. And so it actually saved you a lot of trouble, it looks like. So pat on the back for doing well for yourself. There are some good changes coming your way. You got, in some areas you're like, oh, I don't like where I'm at. I'm ready for things to change. I'm ready for it to change yesterday. But that's okay. Kind of hang in to where you're at, because I'm seeing some really good stuff coming your way. And then in fact, in about the next 3 months, it feels like there's someone really helpful entering the picture who kind of clears up any of the mess that you feel like there is right now. So good things coming. You're not stuck. This is just very temporary. So, and again, good for you for making the right call. You made a right call this week. So I feel like that's validating for you.
So, on our messenger chats, we have our phones open. Okay. So under our picture, I have a message that's stuck, and I'll have to send this to you after the show because, I can't pop it up now, but it says, and Prince was late. It's stuck there. It keeps saying, and Prince was late. What the fuck does that mean? Excuse me. Sorry, guys.
This is how me and Rena talk off camera, guys.
Sorry.
Like Prince.
Yeah, it's Prince, and Prince was late. It keeps saying, and Prince was late.
And where is this at? Oh,
right there. I know you can't see it. It says, and Prince was late.
Wow.
What does that mean?
He's so mysterious.
What's he late for?
Is he bringing in something else for you to do now? Like, oh, Prince was late, by the way.
Oh, I know he's late.
Get it done tomorrow. Prince was, oh.
It's weird.
I don't want to make this about me, but.
No, make it about you. It means something because it won't go away. It's stuck there. It doesn't move. It's stuck.
So you know how he gets pissed off if like I'm sending you something and I procrastinate? So just.
Oh, Prince is late. You're sending something with Prince.
Well, so today, like 2 hours before we got on into the show, so 5 o'clock Central Time, I was thinking, oh shit, I've got to start ordering this so I can send it to Rena before Christmas. And like, I meant to do it like 3 months ago. And I dropped my card. Hold on. And I was thinking, oh shit, I hope it gets there. I hope I get it together and get it there before Christmas. And I don't know.
That's funny.
God, I'm always in trouble with that man.
That is hilarious. I love it.
Like, he's a Gemini. He should totally understand this. Like, why is it? Anyway.
Oh, he might have been a Gemini, but I don't think he was ever late.
I will get, okay, I'm on it.
Okay, he was probably late, but on purpose.
Okay, I'm on it. So now that
yeah, it is literally stuck there. I actually took a screenshot because I was going to just send it to you, but I'm like, this isn't going away. This has like been here for at least a half hour.
Maybe this is for you and then I can just resonate with it as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it means. I don't let myself be late.
Well, there was one time I was making you the little Prince birthday gift and I literally waited till the last minute to order everything for it. And then it all started coming late. And I'm like over here with my keys, like praying to Prince, like, come on, make it arrive on time.
That's hilarious. I love it.
I know. And it did.
It's magical. Bossy. Now you guys understand. He's so damn bossy.
I'm going to get on that tomorrow. Okay. Tom says, thanks again, Brandy. You helped me with my job opportunities. Well, you helped yourself, Tom. I was just giving you some insight. It's all on you. You did amazing.
Carrie said maybe he didn't want you telling that story when he was late.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, that's when we were talking about him with Trent Reznor. Or you were telling the story?
That's interesting. That is interesting.
No, it'll make sense because you know how these things are. And I tell people this in a reading all the time. Like, look, if something doesn't make sense, park it in the back of your mind. I always say it like that because it will make sense later. Something will like bing, and you'll.
I think that story is something I heard Tom Morello talk about on Lithium on Sirius XM. Like, it was something that Mark was telling me a story about, and then I'm pretty sure Tom Morello had reiterated that story. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious.
I shouldn't admit this, but I've never been a huge Nine Inch Nails fan. I've never disliked them either, though.
That's okay.
Yeah, I've never disliked them, and when I saw
well, they're a techno band, so it's not instruments. It's definitely like that's a one-man show basically. True. You know, it really is.
But wasn't it last year that he was inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? And I was watching his interview and I thought he was so cool, like such a likable guy. Like, I think he's a Sagittarius and I can't remember. I'm gonna let
I would believe he would be I could see him as a Sagittarius for sure. I think he's an interesting fellow. I think he's probably pretty dang deep and it would be interesting to pick his brain.
So I'm going to look it up real quick.
But I feel that way about Dave Grohl. Like, I just want to have coffee with that guy and talk to him about the DGs and maybe rock out a little bit, you know?
Well, he's friends with Paul McCartney and Paul comes to his house. Yeah, I was listening to an interview with him and he's talking about Paul McCartney coming to his house and I got really upset and I told Wade, I was like, because I'm not famous, Paul McCartney will never be friends with me and he's totally missing out. Like, it would be fun for him to come to our house too. Like, I got in this ridiculous.
I have a funny story to tell you now that we're talking about Paul McCartney. Like, this is so good. So on Hulu, I found Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, this is a sign from the heavens. Okay, so I'm deep in watching this show and this girl comes on and she's talking about it wouldn't be like a mediumship story that came through for her, but she swears that she had a dream that Paul McCartney came and told her she couldn't eat meat anymore. And I was like, Brandy.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, that's good.
That's good stuff. I believe that. Like, we can all work like that. Like, people have had dreams where I'm coming and telling them stuff. And
yeah, don't eat meat no more.
Don't eat meat. You don't need to.
No.
Don't even get me started. Don't encourage me, Rena.
That's right. Well, okay, if I can't eat meat, you can do it too.
So, by the way, Trent Reznor is a Taurus, but
no,
his moon is in Sagittarius. So that's what we were.
Interesting.
That's what I'm remembering.
Interesting. Really?
Yeah. I know, right? Huh?
I said, I wonder what he likes to eat. Because I don't see him all frivolous and pretty and you know what I mean? Like,
well, that can be Taurus too. It can be very practical. Whereas, you know.
No. We're the kings and queens.
We do love to eat. I'm not a Taurus, but I'm Taurus rising and I got Venus and Mars and Taurus. Like,
oh gosh. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Well, what do we want to end on? Sorry, me and Rena could talk all night. So.
And Prince was late. He's still late. It still says it on my phone.
All right. So we're going to take off next week. If you guys have anything you want us to explore, talk about, if you have your own stories that we can publicly discuss, please send them to us. We're always looking for good stuff to chat.
Yes. So, what do you guys want to hear us talk about? We got all kinds of things we can dive down the rabbit hole with you.
That's right. Like, I mean, between me and Rena,
we've lived a million lifetimes. We just know everything. No, I just kidding.
We know geomancy, keys, crystals, astrology, palmistry, mediumship. What else do I do? Tarot. Rena does tarot. Reiki.
We know food.
We know crime,
unsolved mysteries, Tiger King.
Rena's trying to get me on board with season 2. I was totally in on season 1, but I'm originally from Oklahoma, so it hits.
You know, when they released, you know, the big joke or the big meme was, here comes the pandemic, release the Tiger King documentary. So now I'm like, oh my God, what's coming?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Or if you guys want us to like explore a certain celebrity, like birth charts, anything like that, you guys just let us know.
Yeah.
Mary says no Tiger King. She is not gonna watch us.
Okay, you don't have to, but there's some interesting Don Lewis stuff on there. We can talk. I told Brandy we should pull a chart for the day he went missing because I want to know.
Tom, yes. Tom wants to know if we can discuss his sister. So tragically, Tom's older sister was murdered. And yeah, you know what, Tom, when you're here next weekend, you can kind of give me some deets. And if you're okay with that, for sure. And he gave me a time to pull a chart with it. So we can do that.
Awesome. Yeah, Carrie, I know Carol did it. I just want to know if the tigers ate him.
Oh, the tigers totally ate him. Totally.
But
like, why would you go throw him in the ocean when you have like 25 tigers who are hungry?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little spoiler here. So in season 2, they're talking about his stuff. Where did he go? Puerto Rico? Was it Puerto Rico?
Costa Rica, I thought.
Costa Rica. Okay. So he did some really bad stuff. And I think he was involved with sex with minors.
Ah, dang.
And he was involved with drugs and some really bad people. So it could have happened over there too. We just don't know. There's a story though that's interesting. Carol apparently went there and saw him at the house that he owned over there. Like, I think he liked to leave her at home. But the story is that, well, Carol says she saw him in bed with his 15-year-old girlfriend.
Oh my gosh, what a gross.
And he was significantly older than Carol at the time, because when she married him, you know, he was like, oh, I don't even know. It was significantly older though.
That's what I kind of remember about that too.
Yeah. So yeah.
Are you saying if she didn't kill him, she's definitely not missing him?
We know she's not missing him. But yeah, it's really interesting stuff. So yeah.
All right, maybe we can do that part. Maybe we can get into.
I can pull the little backstory from Tiger King too, so you don't have to watch it, but maybe you can pull the chart for me.
Okay, I will take care of the astrology if you will take care of the watching, the binge.
I'm on
it. You know, I spent my first 33 years in Oklahoma. Like, I was just seeing too much of it. And
well, Carol's in Florida.
That's right. She's not I already forgot their names. Like, I'm suppressing it. Okay. So yeah, we'll do that. We'll be back in 2 weeks. You let us know. I don't know. Any ending thoughts, Rena? I don't know why I feel like I can't jump off of here.
I don't know. All I have is Prince was late. That's what my phone says.
Prince was late, guys. So
it's crazy.
We'll find out. And then when we figure out what that is, what it means, we'll tell everybody in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll tell everybody in a couple weeks.
Awesome. All right. Well, everyone have a fantastic holiday. Rena, I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll probably talk to you before then.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
All right. I'm going to cut the feed so we can end this. All right. Good night, everybody.